This episode is for Palookas and Bazookas. You're in the Playhouse. Welcome to the Playhouse. I'm Uncle Paul, and it's time for our very special hellos. Hello to Wink55, also known as Maverick, Bob and his dogs, Einstein, Ruby, and Queenie, Steve Alexander, John's Vinyl Records Plus, Buddy the Dog from Beetle Brad, Sonny Pleasantone, Matthew Street, Dave Sunstrom, the Sticker Mania family, and that includes you, Ari, Jerome Luby, Kid O'Toole, Beetle Dave, Joe Mayo, Two Legs Podcast, Andy and Tom, Gracie and Rosie, and of course, Nicole. Now, if you'd like a special hello, or you'd like to dedicate a special hello, please leave it in the comments below. And also, while you're doing that, please subscribe and share and comment and like as we try and grow the Playhouse. And that's our very special hellos for today. Well, there's a lot of choices when it comes to bubblegum. But we're going to center on one that's near and dear to our hearts. In this object, presentation, artifact, showcase. Yes, you can get some double bubble. Yeah. And of course there's bubble yum. There was even some Bozo bubble gum. Good old Bozo, Larry Harmon's Bozo. Here's some from Topps. Michael Jackson bubblegum. And of course, there was even Monopoly bubblegum with stickers inside. But nothing cleanses the palate than a good old piece of Bazooka. Now, Bazooka was created in 1947, following World War II. And he had a different mascot at the time. His name was Adam. And a lot of people feel that the name Bazooka came from the weapon from World War II, a bazooka. But history has shown that that is actually wrong. And that Topps got the name of Bazooka from the instrument bazooka. Who knows? It's a debate that continues to this day. But the original mascot, Adam, didn't seem to work very well with the public. So in 1954, Woody Gelman and Ben Solomon, who were the heads of development at Topps Company, asked Wesley Morse to create a new mascot for their popular gum, Bazooka. And he created what we know as today, you've been waiting for me to say it, Playhouse members, Bazooka Joe. And also legend has it that he got his name from a contest that they held. And they settled on Bazooka Joe. Now, back to the history a little bit. The logo of just Bazooka Bubblegum, again, being created after World War II, is red, white, and blue. That, again, is very patriotic to the times that followed America after World War II. Now we're going to delve into some of the fun items that have been manufactured over the years regarding Bazooka Joe and his friends. And sometimes we even get confused of who Bazooka Joe is. But of course, this is Bazooka Joe. He's got the eye patch on over one of his eyes. And this was a Funko Wacky Wobbler. And They even decorated the box with comics all around it. In fact, on the back of the box here, you got Bazooka Joe, and then you got his pals. You got Tuffy over here, okay, and then Mort and Pesty. It says Joe, Mort, Pesty, and Tuffy, and the rest of the gang have appeared in over 50 different countries. Bazooka Joe has become a true pop icon. So unwrap a chunk of Bazooka, have a laugh, read your fortune, and enjoy your Bazooka Joe Wacky Wobbler. Now Funko has put out a lot of different configurations of Bazooka Joe. Now this is the Funko Pop under the Add Icons line, which they always put the subject matter under the name Pop. And this is number 19 in Add Icons, and a nice representation of Bazooka Joe. And this was a Target store only exclusive. And for a short time, they try out other items. This is a Bazooka Joe Dorbz figure. D-O-B-T-Z, I believe. D-O-B-Z. Dorbz. Here he is, playing around. And we're going to attempt a live one. But this is the soda figure that Funko put out. They're in a nice can. This is the Bazooka Joe figure here. And these come sealed. And if it doesn't take too long, I thought this is really sealed, that we would do a live Playhouse unwrapping or unboxing, as they say. So, this is the first time. We've never opened this because you can get a chase figure, which are quite rare. Most people of these soda figures open them up. But the Playhouse never opens anything up. So we're going to see which, for the first time, Bazooka Joe figure we have. I think he's probably the standard one, but I promise it's the first time I'm seeing this. And here he is, the Bazooka Joe soda figure. They did these really well. They really did. And he is, yes, one of 6,000, it says here. But he's the common one. But that's fine. Hang out there, Bazooka Joe. All right, now we're going to show you some vintage Bazooka Joe items. I don't know why they manufactured this, but it's Bazooka, so why not? Again, my mom got this, like in 1970. For some reason, I don't know, it must have been an arcade thing, to get a piece of Bazooka encased in a plastic shrine to be worn as jewelry. Now, there's no copyright or trademark or anything on it, but it lasted all these years, and now I have it, and I just find it's a unique piece of Americana, if anything. If you want to wear an old piece, like a 60-year-old piece of Bazooka, encased in plastic, well, it's still here. In fact, people collect the comics. Come to think of it, live on the Playhouse. I bet you this comic is quite collectible now because people love the old comics, so we know it's still in here. Now, oddly, they also branched out. They licensed Bazooka to a DVD brand for a little while. So here's the classic header, original Bazooka, and this is a DVD called Classic Bubble Tunes, and it's got our friends, the animated Three Stooges, on the cover. And this is just DVD, but I love the artwork here of Classic Bubble Tunes on the DVD. I love these Three Stooges cartoons, by the way. And inside, of course, in the DVD case, you got a special collector's card. And of course, you have to have a piece of Bazooka with it. Well, it comes with one piece of, oh, it's sugarless Bazooka. And a collectible card, and there's an interactive game. And we found these comics are hysterical. So I'm going to read a few off the cuff. Now, these are the collector cards that they released, I think in the mid-70s, of the comics. So we're going to read this if we can. Okay. Since I'm working the lunch counter, business has improved. Selling a lot of sandwiches? Nope, stomach pills. There'll be no copying on this history test. Herman, are you copying Mort's answers? No, ma'am. I'm just checking to see if my answers are right. Laugh at you will. I'm leaving space for the laughter. All right, now this is the prized, I'm going to show this first, before the prized item. Now, of course, since Bazooka was manufactured by the Topps Company, well, their most popular non-sport card, and Playhouse members really seem to love our Wacky Packages episode. And that was number 13, by the way, our Wacky episode. So when they released Wacky Packages, which were parodied other products, well, it was a simple thought to parody their own product, Bazooka, as Gadzooka. And this is in Series 1 of the Classic Wackies. And they also made it the 9-piece collector puzzle piece that you needed to collect all 9 checklist cards in order to complete your puzzle. And I'm telling you, in 1973, while I was going to junior high school, these were all over the place. The young people, they had wacky fever, definitely. And I know and I hear our Playhouse members agreeing. Now, since Gadzooka was so popular, I wanted to read, because this again was so popular, the puzzle again to you. Because again, this is how much the teachers hated this stuff. Because the puzzle right on it says, annoy your teacher, chew bubblegum in class. Which of course was the most horrible thing that you could do in school, was to chew bubblegum. I remember I had a teacher that would walk around with a glass, and she would make the students that were chewing bubblegum spit it into the glass. Yes, that's the stuff you could get away with in 1973. So again, in Series 2 of Wacky Packages, the original classic series, they also parodied Sugar Mess bubblegum, which was a part of Gadzooka. It was guaranteed to put on weight. But as you said, if you love Wacky Packages, you know exactly what I'm talking about and why we enjoy them so much. Now lastly here, real fast, in our foray into Bazooka Joe and his gang, we have an original piece of artwork for the comics. And this is how big they started out. I can't believe it, right? And we're going to try it. So we're going to read this comic to you, but this is, you can see from my hands and our positioning that this is quite large, but all the tiny little dots are in their faces, in Bazooka Joe's face. And just for fun, because I always thought, again, this is a silly, fun comic, like they all were. So why didn't you use the elevator in Bubble 1? The sign in the elevator says it holds 12 people. I didn't want to wait for the other 11. This hangs in the Playhouse, by the way. We love it. Nice piece of Bazooka Joe original artwork. So now it's time to check the comments bowl. Wait, this should have been in episode 11, push-up on the bottom, about the Kona Brothers push-up puppets, if you remember. You could look back, Playhouse members, and look at that and learn all about the Kona Brothers and their push-up puppets. In that episode, though, we learned that the Kona Brothers invented the Trouble Pop-O-Matic. And this is something called a Trouble Bubble by the Kona Brothers, 1971. And I think there was just another way, you hear that, to incorporate the Trouble Pop-O-Matic. But again, that shouldn't have been in the comments bowl. Oh, here's the comments bowl. All right, so we're going to dip into the comments bowl. This is not planned. And how you get into the comments bowl? Just leave us a comment. This is regarding episode 14, The Beatles Carry That Weight with All Your 45s Inside. And member Carjo commented that They loved the carrying cases for the 45s, and he remembered showing his nephew 45s for the first time, and his nephew called them little records. Well, thank you, Car Joe, for that comment. And if you'd like to be in the comments ball, just leave us a comment, and please like, subscribe, and share. And for now, the playhouse is closed. Thanks, Joe Friday.